How's it going, everyone? Coming at you today with another video. And today, guys, what I did was actually top 8ing my first regional. So this is really awesome because there's been a lot of time in COVID where I've been prepping up and feeling really good about playing and really good about the meta, but not being able to show off. And so going to my first regional back feels amazing to actually get top 8. It was a really tough tournament. I played against a lot of really tough matchups. So I'm very excited to be able to bring you the 60 card striker pile that I've been talking about. I've been theorying this deck for like a month now. We've been seeing a lot of the print kit decks that can go 60 cards with all the cool engines, but I figured that striker could probably do that better, especially when you have souls. You can pitch cards, go immediately in card advantage. When you have things like Kagari to add those back. So let's just go right over the profile here and we'll talk about all the choices and why I played the way that I did. So to start things off here, I actually broke the code. I play the third rows now. In this deck specifically, this is either a small world bridge or it's just another way to play the game, and I just wanted to play as much as possible. So this was always really nice to see, because like it was just never dead. I would never just like cut down on the engine either. That was a really big question going into this weekend, was the number of aces that I was going to play. For the hand traps, I didn't go super crazy, but I definitely played a lot. 3 Ash, 3 Bell. This card was insane this weekend. We'll talk about that. 2 Ogre, 2 Mourner. So first things first, this card's getting cut. If they're a better Despia player, they just dump the comedy anyway, and then you go to Mourner, they're Lubellion, and then they can distribute it off, and this card sucks. This card came up all of 1 time today. This is definitely just getting turned out for like a Veiler instead, because I feel like Veiler would work better with my Small World bridges anyway. Because there was twice today where a Veiler would have bridged my Small World just perfectly, but I had this instead. So this is definitely getting cut. Gamma was nuts today. Every single time that somebody ashed my Enchantress and then they got punished by Gamma, it was insane. But the second you resolve Gamma, you should just be winning that game anyway because you're so up in card advantage. Bell crazy at 3, mandatory 3 of right now. Same with the Ash, you have to play them. And then Ogre for Faithful is always just the best thing you have. Going into the rest of the deck now. More engine. We're playing the 5 count, 2 souls, 2 illusion, 1 prep. You always want to play 5 ways to search 1 card. So I always like to have engines in 5s if I can. So that's why I play 2, 2, and 1. Souls was broken all weekend, just the freest draw as possible. Being able to pitch off your Faithful and your GGYGO back for just so much advantage is so nice. Especially when you throw striker spells in the graveyard and then you can go Kagari and add them back. Always really beautiful to see here. The next thing is the right package. So the thing that I really enjoy about this, other than the fact that it's just broken, is that if you have Ray, so nobody ever interacts with Ray when you normal summon it outside of like maybe a Super Poly. So what this does for you is that you normal summon Ray and you go Hayate. And people, it's the same thing as when you have multi-roll on the board, they will always interact with your multi-roll. So when you summon Hayate, they'll always interact with Hayate. If you go for like the battle phase hit, they'll either imperm you, they will remove your monster from the board, they'll do whatever they want to do, which is perfectly fine. Because then you go main phase 2, since you didn't use the effect array, then you can go ahead and use the right after they already try to hand trap you, and then you can go full combo on the main phase 2. Because this card just puts so much pressure on the board, and when they think this is all that you have, you actually just win the game. It's pretty nuts. It came up multiple times today doing that line. Also, the Griffin, a lot of people who play Striker with the Brave engine, they don't play this. This card's so crucial because if you're in a simplified game state, you just go for this then, and they just lose to their top deck being negated. Or if you're playing against Despia, game 2, you always summon Griffin instead of going DPE, because you want to summon DPE when it's a grind game and they're already dwindled on resources. If you summon Griffin first, you play around Super Poly, and it's overall just really nice to have the negate instead of the DPE. So that's a really good way. I lost 80% of my game 1s today and had to reverse 2 everyone, which was pretty nuts. My sideboard's pretty insane though for that, so I'll talk about that when we get there as well. The next one was the Fusion Destiny engine. I don't really have to explain this very much. These cards are just broken, free advantage. DP is actually just insane. This is the best card in the deck, hands down. This card is actually just wild. In the sideboard, like I have the Kaiju, and you can go realistically any hand trap. My favorite is like if you open Bell with like the Small World, you can go like the Bell into like the Enchantress since they're both water and go right into your Kaiju. So that's why I play this one. A lot of people ask me like why I'm not playing Godarla. I just feel like this one's just better, and plus we don't really care about the Wind Barrier statue anyway. But Small World literally just gets you into anything. I beat Despia so many times today because I just searched Ash on top of my full combo and they just couldn't play the game. But if you're not already playing Small World, this card is actually probably like insane busted. Like I would actually pick up a set. Let's go. For striker spells, we have the double shark cannon. I wanted to play 3, but I didn't play 3. It was one of those things where I really want to beat Despia, but like our matchup's already so good with Despia, they don't even have to worry about that. A lot of times, if they're like really solid and it's a good grind, then yeah, it can get a bit more intense. But I feel like at the same time, your matchup's already so real with the amount of cards that we play, and like the Widow Anchors for Mirror Jade, that as long as you know what the matchup does and you can avoid cards like Comedy, then you're going to do really well. In the final, there's a Mirror Jade on board, and I wanted to steal his Mirror Jade, but I knew that he had Comedy in the graveyard, so I went and Shark Cannon his Comedy first, and it like forced him to use the Comedy to get rid of the Mirror Jade, and at that point I just knew I was so far ahead that it didn't really matter. Double Burner, still good removal. Triple Anchor, not going to explain that because that card's just broken. Double Cosmic, always main deck this card, card's insane. The Game 1 Cosmic, this card came up so much today actually, and hitting like Theaters, hitting the set Branded and Reds, just any matchup where there's just generically back row. I played against Geist as well today, came up a lot in that as well. Always just main decking some kind of back row so you don't lose to random things. More striker spells, Hornet Drone, Engage, best card ever, multi-roll. I definitely played one Call by the Grave, never saw it today, still fine though, still always play that. Foolish Area and Rhoda, these cards are all pretty self-explanatory, and then I did play the 3 in turn as well. But that's just wrapping up the main deck. Let's go into the extra deck first before the sideboard. I really like my sideboard for today. I don't think I would change much at all. DPE, the Link Spider, the Anaconda, Dark. This card is so broken. There's so many times where this card just came up and won me the game inherently. The rest of the extra deck's pretty standard. I play Access Code, the 1 Zeke, 1 Kaina. I was going to cut this for Unicorn. I'm happy I didn't, honestly. It was just really good today. 2 Hayate, 3 Kagari, and then 3 Shizuku. Other than that, like the only thing that I get asked a lot about is why I don't play the Hulk Celine package. I just don't like it personally. I think that there's the better options out there. If you get hand trapped one time in a hand trap format, it's just kind of over with that combo. As for the sideboard, I honestly really enjoyed this so much. So I side 3 Kaijus. A lot of people have come off the Kaiju, but like if you're playing against like a DPE deck, at that point you can just go ahead and Kaiju the DPE, and it's just 1-for-1 trade that you don't have to worry about later on. I really like that too, because it's just one less card that you have to use out of your hand to try to like get rid of it or like Shark Cannon it. You can just go ahead and open the Kaiju on it, which I really enjoy. And then it just comes up in the random matchups that you really need a Kaiju, right? Just don't side this against Despia, because it just is terrible if they Branded or they bring back Mirror Jade anyway. But other than that, it was great. Best card in side deck, this card's insane. Pretty self-explanatory. If you see it, you win. If you don't, then grind. Also goated card, Pinkertops. Came in one time, used it one time, was the most insane card and won me my round 9, sorry. But really, really nice. Always would side that card still. 3 Twister, 1 of the Harpy. Pretty self-explanatory. 1 of the Mind Control. Did not see it at all, but I wanted 3 hard going second cards, so I put these 3 in. Which I think is really proper in Striker, because like you can already play going second. If you have that 1 of power card in your hand on top of everything else, you just win. The card that won me like literally almost all my games when I had to go first was this card right here. Card's insane. It is what it is, you know. A lot of times if you have the way to out the Draco back, or you don't let them get the token on the board, you just auto win with this card. I sat on this card for like 4 turns and just had enough gas to kill my opponent. But every single time I saw this card, I won, which is pretty crazy. I would not main deck that, but like keeping him on the side is super clean. Overall, I just want to give a big shout out to the homie Austin Smothers here. He was the car ride here, and it's just been a lot of testing and going ups and downs with the list, and it's someone who really helped me to keep my cool and come in here and do really well today and just kind of keep a level head throughout everything. Like even if you lost one game, you know, like you're still going strong. Shout out to everyone at Refined Gaming. Refined Gaming is such a wonderful place to be with all the cool people, and really being able to get good play testing in, and all the homies, the Discord, the YouTube. I appreciate all of you guys. I give a lot of information to help you on the daily basis, but at the same time, you guys help me too to get better and help me be as good as I can at the game for you guys. But I do appreciate it, and hope that you guys all enjoy the deck profile, because we're just going to be going to Columbus next week and hopefully doing the same thing.